obviously the Apple docuseries, and this roast is like maybe the greatest thing that has happened in 20, I don't know how long, but fucking phenomenal. You're one of the stars of that, Jules. Let's go. You fucking murdered up there, dude. You murdered. You knew you were going to crush, though, right? You knew that?
I was nervous, boys. That was very nerve-wracking. Anytime you jump into an environment with other professionals that do that for a living and have to do what they do and execute in front of 15,000 people at the Forum, on live, Netflix, whatever it was on. I mean, it's nerve-wracking, but I handled it like a football game. I worked with our team, their team. I put together like 12, 13 minutes, a bunch of jokes, and I went to the Comedy Store and I performed. Jeff Ross was a huge help with me. He's like, hey, I know you're feeling a little nervous. Why don't you come hit the back set of my set at the Comedy Store? So I went up there, and that was like 10 times more nerve-wracking because it's super intimate, and I had a lot more jokes, and I didn't have like prompters or anything, so I was just reading off cards. So I was like terrified. Thank God I had like a group of, there's like 15 frat kids there that were like full NFL fans that laughed at anything I said, so I felt cool after the first joke.
Boys, you really helped. That was a big assist, boys. That was a big assist.
They did. Yeah. They did. It was awesome, but going into the night of the show, it was funny because you'd be in the green room, and in our green room it was me, Randy, Bill, Gronk, and Bledsoe, and you could tell guys were a little nervous. You know what I mean? You could tell, but everyone was trying to play it cool because we're all professionals. But it was 100% like a locker room before a game. Guys are sitting there kikiing, a little joke here or there. But then you'd see a guy run off to the corner to go look at his jokes and practice his jokes. Gronk went to the bathroom like 4 times, I think, to run his jokes. Like it was pregame nerves through the roofs. But ultimately, it was a great experience, a fun experience, and it was kind of like a therapy session. You know what I mean?
Aired out a lot of grievances probably through the art of joke out there.
Through the art of joke.
Yeah.
Through the art of joke. But it was awesome, man. It was great to see Bill there. Boy, whether there's some tension.
Yeah, well, you're talking about Mr. Kraft, I think.
There's just tension everywhere.
Yeah, no, you were talking about that one, though. That was who you were talking about.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, I watched you and Drew Bledsoe on Games with Names podcast, which is phenomenal. Talk about you trying to give the hootie hoo to Bill whenever Robert Kraft walked into the room or whatever, and then
5-0.
Yeah, just kind of walking away and then letting it kind of all figure. Everybody knows, right? I mean, that's the elephant in the room, especially fresh out of the Apple documentary. That has to be the reason. Is that what we're thinking?
In any kind of separation, you never want to see the parents in the same room at the open house the next night. So, it's a little weird. But yeah, the whole doc, the whole letting go. I mean, it was a eventful last 3-4 months this year. So thankfully with Games and Names, we gave a perspective and had Matthew Slater, Matt Lights coming on, Drew Bledsoe, guys that Ty Law, guys that were part of the dynasty. We gave our own little thing, the inside jokes, the players' perspective, the fun that we had. Because let me tell you, it was miserable. Yeah, who doesn't like, if you're 35 or if you're 31, 32 and older, what football player ever liked their fucking coach? And excuse my language, are we past 3 o'clock or whatever?
You're good. I know you're in LA, you're lounging, and what is time? Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Who liked their football? No one liked their football. Who likes a guy that makes you run a hill week 17, after you just blew someone out 30? No one likes that, but you need it and you love it. So that's what it is.
Well, we love to hear that because I think there's a chance that a lot of coaches nowadays, and this is a much bigger conversation, we're not going to dive fully into it, but a lot of guys I think are scared to not be friends with the people that they're coaching, and I don't know if that's ever going to work. Legitimately, I don't know if that's ever going to work at the highest level, whenever people win. Accountability has to be a real thing, and the person that has to hold people accountable, not necessarily always the most liked person in the, you know what I mean? That guy kind of sucks in every conversation. So, to your point, I'd like to echo that sentiment.
Yeah, I mean, I hated my mom and dad when I had to get cough syrup, but I had a cough. I hated them. But when that cough went away, I was like, damn, maybe my parents were pretty damn good.
Yeah, good play there. Solid play there. Fair play. Go ahead, AJ.
Jules, getting back to the roast, I guess, what was your expectations going into it, and who do you think could be the next roast? I'm sure Netflix is thinking off the success of this. Hey, who do we go after next? Who can we get to commit to this? And also, lastly, with Tom, do you know, is Tom happy with the whole situation? Does he like how it all went down?
I mean, I talked to Tom briefly. He didn't even go to the after party. Jesus Christ, Tom! We had all our guys there, and no one. I think he went off to Italy or something. But
Whoa.
I think he was happy, and I do believe they'll probably start doing more of these. I mean, it felt like comedy was kind of like coming back with what you could say here and there, and I tell you who the greatest teammate of the night was Kevin Hart. Opening the thing up, bringing out his jokes, because a lot of guys were sweating on like the barometer of where we could hit, like what subject we could go after. And, you know, Kevin being the guy that he is, he jumped right in, hit the jiu-jitsu instructor right away. So I felt like, all right, we're good. And I think it'd be great to have like a Patrick Mahomes or something, you know, like you got to get the biggest stars of the stars, or a LeBron, or I mean, it's got to be the biggest of the sport. You know, if you're going to start doing this for athletes.
I don't know if anybody else is signing. Julian, I don't know if anybody else is signing up for that. You know, one of the biggest things talked about Tom is Tom Brady was allowed to be coached like everybody else. So if you see Tom Brady getting yelled at on a Monday after a game, you can definitely get yelled at on a Monday after a game. So Tom is like, one of his actual traits that puts him above a lot of people is that he has like a thick skin or can take it or whatever, even though some of the shit I assume definitely hit home. I don't know any other motherfuckers that are considered GOATs are going to be doing it. Like, especially after watching it, it's like, am I signing up for Nikki Glaser?
Do it?
Exactly. Like, you think Tiger's going to do it? I don't think so. I don't, you know?
I mean, yeah, I guess. But Patrick Mahomes, I think he could do it.
Yeah, especially because how beloved he is.
Yeah, for sure.
Boy,
he's beloved, and then there's also a lot of material that you could hit with Patrick Mahomes. There's a lot of material that you could hit.
Oh, yeah?
May not be Patrick. It could be the things around Patrick. But there's a lot of hittable things. And it would be fun. I think he would take it right. He would. Yeah. When you're the guy in the situation, I think Tom comes out looking like flowers in this whole thing. You know what I mean? How he took it, you know, and allowed the things that to be said about him in front of everyone. And I think the check was pretty good, too. I don't know.
I guess that would be the only great equalizer in the entire thing. You know, because a couple Tom, you know, we were just talking about Patrick Mahomes, you know, the targets around.
Exactly.
From what we read on the internet, there were some targets around.
Few of them.
Tom, So Tom didn't go to the after party. The whole Robert Kraft happy ending thing with Jeff Ross, I know it's kind of split. I assume you've already had to give was he actually, I don't think he was actually pissed about that. Do you think he was? Do you think whenever he interrupted that situation?
I was right there, and I was like, is this part of... I don't even know.
Yeah.
I really don't, but it was kind of like... I think it was played off. I don't know. I don't know for a fact. Ooh. I think it was a play.
Hey, we're a few days removed from this. You still don't have a fucking answer. You're
still don't have a clue.
You still don't know.
I still don't have a clue. Like I said, Tom's in a different time zone right now. I think he's doing like a boat race in Italy, or I think one of his teams, he's got something going.
Yeah, pickleball game.
Nowhere to be found. Yeah. 7 rings. Yeah, that's what I get when he sends me the voicemail.
Hey, you did great for him on Sunday, though. Ty has a question for you.
Jules, when it comes to the whole Brady-Bill situation, does it get exhausting how, like, media or whoever's talking about it, like, they only think that guys that were there can be in one camp? Like, you Brady and a Belichick guy. You know, like you just said, like, yeah, obviously a lot of guys, they fucking hate their coach, but you respect the shit out of Bill, clearly. But, like, does that ever get exhausting or piss you off, how it's like, hey, you can either only be in Brady's camp or you can only be in Belichick's camp? And I don't think we've heard anyone who has been like, hey, I was a Belichick guy. I wasn't necessarily a Brady guy.
Yeah, it is very exhausting. You know, and if you talk to a lot of the older generation guys, you know, they were around Tom Brady before he was Tom Brady. And you know, they understand it too. And then it got to a point, and it's hard to even explain this because you don't want to go on a tangent where it's very exhausting, dude. Like, seriously.
All right, so whose side were you on? Just say you're Tom, yeah, forever, yeah. Fuck Bill Belichick.
I mean, I live in Brentwood because Tom fed me the rock, but I was the football player I was because Bill Belichick coached me the way he coached me. So I mean, it was both. I mean, Bill drafted me. He took an opportunity to take a quarterback out of Kent State who could barely throw the fucking the ball and
we saw some big
turn me into.
To the Ravens.
Yeah. Not only throw, a guy can fuck it in punt return too.
What?
Most dangerous.
Play DB sometimes too.
Yeah, played
couple DBs.
Play safety.
But you know what I mean? I love them both. I really do, and I really do feel like the kid that has to talk about mom and dad after the divorce.
Well, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. And I think you're allowed to respect and appreciate both sides of it. I think that is completely okay. But society, normally, we got to go one
Maybe the
way.
roast, though, will kind of be the end of that. And
Yeah, because
it won't necessarily be like, hey, it has to be one or the other.
No, now it's Kraft or Bill.
True.
So now
What if this happens? What if, and this is a conspiracy, or this is just a theory.
We love these.
What if, like, Raiders go down a shithole this year, which they're on par to do. And all of a sudden, Tom gets his 10% and hires Bill to go be the head coach of the Raiders. They bring that's some shit that could happen, I bet.
Tom's Bill's boss.
Wow. AP out after 1 year.
Jeez, that would be wild for AP.
Yeah.
Lombo, new GM.
That'd be wild, but could that not happen maybe?
Well, I mean, Tom Telesco, imagine GM just getting
See you later,
1
TT.
year.
Because of the roast?
Because
brought them together?
Because Julian Edelman delivered a Foxborough High School joke that nobody else on earth could do. That sounds like something he said to fucking everybody. That's what I heard. When I heard every player go up there and like most of them were like Foxborough High, it's like, oh, that was every fucking day. That sounded like that was every day of practice is what I heard from those jokes.
Oh, if there was any kind of fundamentally dog shit play, like just an easy play, like a wide route or a drop ball, it would be the kid down at Foxborough High, or it would be like fucking me and Ernie could make that fucking throw and catch. And Ernie, you guys know of Ernie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know DB's heard that a few times.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ, just play his goddamn hands, DB. You don't gotta get nervous. Just play his hands.
I bet it sounds so simple.
What's that?
So
He makes
everything.
it
It's
shit.
just,
This is
The
all
crazy
you need
thing
to know.
is, though, we would be. Bill would say some shit on like a Friday, like the keys to the games, and DB can second this. And he'd say, all right, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. If we do these two things, this will happen. And then this will happen. And we'd come in on Monday and it would go just as he said. I'm like, gee, and we'd all sit there and look at each other like, this motherfucker, how did he know that?
insane.
Like,
We would have Sunday meetings, like, coming in. We didn't do this with any other team I was on, but Sunday we'll come in and have a quick meeting before the game, and he would just come in, hey, expect some hurry up at some point early in this game from the offense, blah blah, just like Jules said, and you'll go out there and it would just happen every time, like 99% of the time. Like, how the fuck this dude do this shit?